Hi folks, thanks for joining me once again right here on my Deer Quest Outdoor Adventures. On today's program we're going to take you to Manitoba, Canada, where I'm going to be joined by one of my best hunting buddies and good friend, Mr. Buster Greenway, who's the owner of Easy Cut Ratchet Pruners. We're going to try our hand at some of those big Manitoba black bear, so stick with us. I think you'll enjoy this edition of Greg Hopfs' Deer Quest Outdoor Adventures. Greg Hopfs' Deer Quest Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Deer Quest Limited, makers of Deer Sense, the scent that smokes. Carter's Hunting Lodge, the Pike County, Illinois premier hunting location where whitetail hunting fantasies become whitetail hunting realities. Also brought to you by these fine sponsors. Nikon Sporting Optics, a better look at your world. Holly Caller Wildlife Calls and Accessories, quality products for today's modern sportsman. Light and Sights, producers of high-tech fluorescent optics. Easy Cut Ratchet Pruners, quality equipment for the sportsman. Odor Free, the original scent eliminator. Be silent, be still, be odor free. And Wind Tracker, the fibers that float to show you the direction of your scent. Don't guess, see the wind, and know for sure. Buster and I traveled to Manitoba, Canada to hunt with Larry Lassushian, owner and operator of King Buck Safaris, a premier Canadian hunting operation. We were hunting at one of Larry's comfortable out camps, which consists of U.S. Army surplus air-filled tents. These tents offer roominess, warmth, and all the comforts necessary for a great camp experience. Buster and I were joined on our hunt by Keith and Jason Heeg, a father and son team from Michigan. And while Buster and I chose bows for our hunts, Keith and Jason, having never taken a bear, decided to use their rifles for their first bear hunts. After unloading and putting away our gear, we helped ourselves to lunch, and then I got a chance to speak with Larry and find out a little about what to expect during the week. Larry, what can we expect up here at King Buck Safaris? What are we looking at a bear? Now I got to tell you right up front, I've only taken one bear in my life. It was with a rifle about 10 years ago, and I brought my bow along. But what should I expect?
Well, what I tell every client when he's on the bait there, if my 45-gallon drums are all standing up.
Okay.
Before you get into your tree stand, they stand all the barrels up. If the bear tops the top, and then you got to shoot.
So if his back is level with that.
Yeah, you're looking at an easy 350 pound bear.
All right, now
the other thing you got to look for if you're really looking for the big ones, they have a crease in the middle of the head.
Yeah, we saw a picture earlier of that where it actually looked like they got hit with almost like an axe. It got that little loop in there. Another question that comes up constantly, I did want to ask you, is what's the prevalence in this particular area of a color phase? Do you have them here, or are they more in the Saskatchewan area?
No, I have more. My Saskatchewan area holds more than what this area has. Here I maybe got 5%, where Saskatchewan will hold 25 to 30.
So we may see one, it's possible.
Oh yeah, I have a few baits. I know there's colored bears out there, but that's not saying that colored bear is going to show if you're sitting in the tree stand.
Well, we just want to get a little insight. I am really excited, and we're hunting with the bows, and we know, and because I've talked to enough of your clients. First of all, you have to understand, Larry, King Buck Safari is probably, if you're looking for a monster whitetail, I don't think you're going to find too many more outfitters that have a track record like Larry. The deer that they've produced, and I've seen lots of them, lots of video footage, are absolutely astounding whitetails. And it was only recently I talked to Larry. I knew that he did the bear hunting operation, but I thought that was always a little bit of a sidebar. I know his main concentration has always been the deer hunting. Hey guy, what are you talking about? One of my friends told me that Larry was a very accomplished bear hunter, and he's been doing it for a number of years. So we got together to come up here on this trip, and we're in Manitoba, and you run 2 camps, correct?
Yeah, we run one.
The other is?
In the Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Now how far are we from Saskatchewan here?
My area in Saskatchewan, you're looking at a 6.5 hour ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, with that being said, we've always been looking forward to get up here for a whitetail hunt. Larry had given me an opportunity once already, but we just had some other commitments, couldn't get here. And then we got to speaking this past year and had an opportunity to come up for a bear. And I told Larry about my experiences. I've hunted for bear in New Brunswick, and several years, and without seeing bear, I finally shot a very small bear. We won't say how small he was, but it was a smaller bear than I really should have been taking. But that's why when he offered me the chance to come up here, and I talked to Buster, and I said, I think we ought to try this out. And well, now you really got me psyched. I'm looking forward to it. So the last question I've got to ask you today before we get set to have a bit of lunch and go out this afternoon is, what are our odds? Now, do you prognosticate that way, or do you just kind of, what do you think? We're going to see bear tonight?
Well, I think the wind dies down and that, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm expecting to see bears tonight. I mean, I'll be able to tell when I walk in on the bait if the barrel's turned over.
Okay.
You know, the bait's definitely active, and I was just there
how
the
late?
other day, so I mean, every time I go into a bait site, I stand up the barrels. It tells me when you go in the next day to check it, or if you're taking in a hunter, you know that the bait's been hit.
Yeah. Yeah. And how late will we stay on the stands? It gets last night.
Legal,
it didn't get
your
late.
legal shooting hours here are 9:15.
9:15.
Yeah.
Last night, Larry, we were here in the camp, and I don't think it got. I mean, it was still light. You could see probably almost till 10 o'clock. You could still see.
Yeah, but a lot of my bait sites, if you have where there's pines, it
gets darker quick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it could be dark inside there, and you could walk outside, and it's
Now,
daylight outside.
you'll drop us off at the stand, and then you'll come in and pick us up in the evening,
Yeah.
so we'll know when you're coming in.
Yeah.
That'll be our time.
You'll be
You're
able
our
to hear
bell.
us. You'll be able to hear us. You'll
Good.
be able to hear me come in.
Good. So at that point in time, I'm hoping to have 11 bears on the bait.
Oh,
No,
I don't know 11 bears. I'd like to see an outfitter that does have 11 bears on a bait at one time.
I'm going to tell you the truth. If and you've already suggested this. You know, folks, when you go on a trip like this, you really got to listen to your outfitter, because after all, he's the professional. He's the man that's there. He knows what's going on. And if you don't, you're kind of foolish. You spent your hard-earned money to take the time to make the trip up to a place like this, and you want to have some good results. And believe me, I've been with enough outfitters to know that if you listen to your outfitter, do what he tells you. And I mean do what he tells you. You just can't go off thinking that you know everything better than the outfitter. You may be an accomplished deer hunter or a bear hunter, but every area is peculiar in itself, you know, to that area. So when Larry asked me to do something, my philosophy has always been listen to your outfitter. And unless he really proves that he's doing something crazy that you just can't understand, or is proven to you that's absolutely crazy, you know, you'd be making a big mistake not to listen to what the outfitter has to say. And that will increase your chances of you getting what you're after. Right?
That's right.
Well, Larry, tonight, I hope, my friend, we'll see, because Buster there, I'll be honest, and with a little bit of luck, we shoot straight and come up with one. Because I'm going to tell you, the first 300-pound bear that I see, if I can get a good shot on it, I don't want to disappoint you, but I'm not waiting for a 500 or 600-pounder.
Yeah,
I'm going to take that bear. Yeah. How far we have to go from our camp, Larry, out to the bait?
Probably looking at a good 9 miles to the bait.
But we only have
6 miles by vehicle and 3 miles Argo.
That looks like a really nice day. A little bit of wind, is that going to bother us?
It might, but it'll settle down by evening. I don't like to take the guys out on the stands, especially if there's a big one out there when it's real windy.
And tell me something for everybody that's watching. Is there a big bear in this area, do you think?
Yeah, there's a big bear in this area.
Good.
I figure he's around, minimum 400 pounds, the one we're after here.
All right, well, we sure hope we get lucky. After our ride to the road's end, we unloaded a strange-looking vehicle called an Argo. Now, Buster and I would quickly come to love this vehicle's abilities and versatility. I'd have to describe an Argo as 1/3 ATV, 1/3 boat, and 1/3 tank. And after a week in the Manitoba backcountry, I'm convinced there aren't many places where one of these machines can't go. Manitoba seems to be covered in water with soft, marshy ground everywhere. The Argo would crawl along, never even coming close to getting stuck, as did some of our camp's ATVs. Country here is vast and beautiful, and when hunting with Larry, we would get an opportunity to see lots of it firsthand. We also found that he placed his bait sites so far away from the intrusion of man that I'm sure the bears we were hunting had probably never seen a human before. After arriving at the area of our first stand site, we parked the Argo and had another quarter-mile walk into the stand itself. Larry does his best not to disturb his hunting areas any more than is absolutely necessary. When we arrived at my stand, I noticed that all my bait barrels were standing, so I wasn't sure what to expect. Larry told me that this was an active bait site, and since the barrels hadn't been knocked over since the last time they were checked 2 days earlier, he felt sure that we'd see some action this evening. He also showed me a rather large piece of bear dropping, which he said was produced by a big bear. As I looked at our stands, I did feel a tad uncomfortable, as they were only 10 to 12 feet high. And as a deer hunter who likes his stands to be 18 to 20 foot up, this was going to be an interesting experience. The only way to describe these particular type of bladder stands was large and comfortable. Since it's not uncommon to be on your stand for 5 or 6 hours a day, you quickly come to appreciate this type of stand's comfort. Once settled, I began what would be a 4.5 hour sit until he showed up. Larry's words echoed in my head as I saw that the back of this bear was not only up to the ring on the top of the barrel, but was in fact above it. And I could tell by his big belly and short legs that I was looking at a trophy class Manitoba Canadian black bear. This Bruin walked to within 15 yards of me and stopped, looking straight at me. What I failed to remember is that black bears have very poor eyesight, and as long as you don't move, they'll probably ignore you. He finally stopped staring and turned broadside, offering me the best possible shot, so I began to draw. As I did, he apparently caught my movement as he turned and looked at me once again. Surprisingly, I wasn't nervous, but instead was overconfident at his close distance and my shooting ability. This would prove to be my undoing. How do you miss an animal this big when he's this close?
I missed. I missed. Look at him. I missed. And that was a great bear. I'm really disappointed.
Talk about being humbled. Not only had I missed a trophy-class bear on my first night on stand, but it had also been captured on not one but 2 video cameras, eliminating all the possible excuses I could have come up with had the hunt not been on tape. Wow, folks, wasn't that exciting? I'll tell you, that was the second opportunity I've ever had to take a bear, and I was just overconfident. Dropping my arm cost me a trophy. Back at camp the next morning, I had to explain to Larry how I made the common mistake that may have cost me my only chance at a bear this trip. This week's featured product on Gear Gadgets and Gizmos is the Turbo Knock. Turbo Knocks are the knocking and fletching system designed to work with increasingly popular fall-away arrow rest, available in the Dead X model and the Hunter. Getting a dozen Turbo Knock arrows ready is simple. Just cut your arrows, install your inserts, screw on a field tip or a broadhead, insert a Turbo Knock, and you're ready to go. They're ultra quiet in flight and fly straight and true. Gone are the days of gluing individual fletching or vanes to your arrows, each of which takes about 15 minutes for the glue to dry. Whether you choose the Dead X or Hunter Turbo Knock, we're sure that you'll agree with Nick Snook, owner of Turbo Knock, that these are a great new archery innovation that will surprise and impress you the very first time you shoot one. To contact Turbo Knock, check them out on the World Wide Web at turbonock.com or call them at 866-814-4722. And that's our featured product of the week.
So what happened last night, Greg?
Well, remember I told you about hair and a heartbeat? I'll tell you folks, I wish I had some good excuse. Larry, you put us in on a stand, you said there was a big bear, and as you just saw, there was a heck of a big bear come in there, and he came within 15 yards of me, I guess, and I looked at that bear and I thought to myself, well, jeepers, I could hit him with a rock, and that was a big mistake. But I gotta tell you, I'm gonna blame it on you. That's what happened. No, yeah, I'm gonna blame it on you. Well, yeah, I kind of messed the shot up a little bit, but what you said, and but you never know. I'm gonna second guess. I'll be second guessing myself on that bear for the rest of my life, I'm sure, because I'm sure that was a potent young bear, no doubt in my mind. But he come in, he zigzagged to the barrels there, as you saw, and he stood sideways and he caught me because I was trying to draw back, and he looked straight at me. And I'm a deer hunter. I told you I don't have a lot of experience hunting bear. I've ever shot one bear in my life, and I was a small bear. And this was anything but a small bear. And when he saw me, I was at a half draw. And then he looked away for just an instant there, and he looked back right at me, and he's only 15 and a half yards there. And I'm thinking, oh, well, now he knows I'm here. And then he turned and he started to walk away on an angle. And I figured, boy, you'd mentioned sometimes, and not always, I know you said, but sometimes those big bears, you're telling me, won't give you a second chance if they get you or if they make you.
No, that's true. Sometimes they don't give you a second chance, but...
well, that's why it's your fault.
My fault.
Yeah.
I wasn't the one behind the bow.
Well, I know.
The angle was a little too sharp.
Well, yeah, but I didn't think the angle. It was a makeable shot in my mind, but the point, and I waited for him to get that front foot forward. But what happened was simple as this. When you have a target that's big, and I'm talking, that's a big bear, and a lot of us, and I know better, and all of us have made this mistake if we're honest. I just thought I couldn't miss. Larry, I wanted to peek. I knew it. I just dropped my arm, and when I did that, you saw that arrow went right under his front. It was right where it was supposed to be on the angle, went right on the front leg, and just scared the heck out of him, and he was gone.
He bolted out of there,
so it's your fault. Had you not said that to me,
not my fault. No.
Well, you did your job. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put Buster out tonight. He said that maybe I'll get a little redemption later in the week, but I don't know if I'm going to get another bear like that in because that's a pretty good bear.
Well, those big ones I got are, they're not on every bait site.
No.
They don't come in every night either.
Yep.
I mean, when I last was at that bait, it was 2 days ago.
Uh-huh.
We came in there with both of yous.
Yep.
Barrel standing.
They were standing. I was worried.
That's right.
You weren't.
Well, I wasn't worried, no, because I've handled situations like that before.
Right.
I knew sooner or later
he'd be hitting it.
Definitely going to come in. Yeah.
So the longer that he's not hitting it, as long as he's hitting the bait, period, he may come back.
Well, from my experience, I'd rather see the barrel standing up when you're hunting big ones. Mm-hmm. You know that there's a big one in the area, because probably any night when you'll just decide to come in, and it worked out last night.
Folks, let me tell you, I might not be able to hit a big bear when the chips are down, but I'm hoping I get a second try, maybe redeem myself. But if you're thinking about even coming up for a bear hunt, just check the number at the bottom of the screen. You give Larry here at King Buck Safaris a call, and he'll get you into the ballpark. Now, whether or not you shoot a bear like that, well, that'll be seen. But I tell you this, from just seeing it that they're here, and I know there's at least one on one bait that is still out there. So somebody could get that one.
That's right. He's there for somebody next year.
Well, I wish you luck, and I hope that somebody gets him. And I'm still hopeful. This is only Tuesday night tonight, so you got 4 days to hunt. I'm hoping maybe I'll get a chance to redeem myself, and you'll think better of me. Last night, folks, he just shook his head and wouldn't even talk to me. So, we'll give it another try, all right? Let's go. They're out there. Let's go. Next, we set out for Buster's first opportunity to sit on stand, and I would be his cameraman. But I knew as we waited for a bear to arrive for Buster, I'd have lots to think about. Well, folks, I'm afraid that's all we have time for in today's program. But if you'll join us next week, we're going to have part 2 of our fantastic hunt at King Buck Safaris in Manitoba, Canada. And I'm going to get an opportunity to redeem myself for missing that great black bear on my first night's hunt. Till then, please, be safe and good hunting. Greg Hopfs' Deer Quest Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Deer Quest Limited, makers of Deer Sense, the scent that smokes. Carter's Hunting Lodge, the Pike County, Illinois premier hunting location where whitetail hunting fantasies become whitetail hunting realities. Also brought to you by these fine sponsors. Nikon Sporting Optics, a better look at your world. Polycolor Wildlife Calls and Accessories, quality products for today's modern sportsman. Light and Sights, producers of high-tech fluorescent optics. Easy Cut Ratchet Pruners, quality equipment for the sportsman. Odor Free, the original scent eliminator. Be silent, be still, be odor free. And Wind Tracker, the fibers that float to show you the direction of your scent. Don't guess, see the wind and know for sure. For more information about or to purchase products you've seen us use on today's program, or for comments and or suggestions about today's program, please visit us at our website, www.deerquest.com.